Still, Power Hour number 3. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Please hit the like button. By the way, Brian Baldinger tomorrow. Ice Cube will join us on Thursday at 5:30 Eastern. Appreciate all you guys coming aboard. So there's Muhammad Ali's signature, and there's Angelo Dundee. His daughter put this book together. And Angie used to come on my radio show when I was in Tampa. He moved up to Tampa from Miami. And it chronicled Angelo. Holy cow, I never noticed it. This is Angelo signed this, and so did Muhammad Ali. They signed this. Angelo, what's his name? Leroy Neiman? He signed it too. George Plimpton and Muhammad Ali signed it. Holy cow. Leroy Neiman signed it here. It's funny. Sometimes when I open these things, I opened up, my daughter opened up a book and goes, Dad, Barry Bonds signed this book for you. I'm going like, what? I never know that. I never noticed they signed it. Yeah, they all signed it. Sayer 74, Angelo Dundee Ali, George Plimpton, Leroy Neiman. Leroy Neiman there. I'm sorry, I'm looking. I never noticed it. Ali signed it here. The shit I have. Is it crazy? Phil goes, I think Sills had Cube on last year. Cube was on 3 times last year, my friend. Ice Cube comes on all the time. Sills, what seasoning do you want on your chicken wing? The Purdy spice will do. Don't you think, Cosmo? The Purdy spice. The Purdy spice, you know, it's not quite that spicy, you know. It's get the Purdy spice. Forte goes, I bought Cube's first album when it dropped. Hey, Forte, I always bring it up, just like a Miami Hurricane. I think he's rapping about Big Sills Hurricanes back in the 80s. Okay? The Reddick spice. Hit the like button. Hey, you see Jim? Hey, by the way, something that we brought up here on this program last year. And get this, remember Merrill Reese had to go on Angelo's show to kind of like put it to bed? Well, Zach Ertz admitted that he came this close to being a Buffalo Bill. And he admitted that he was so close to being a Bill. And I guess the Eagles had told him, you're going to be a Bill, but then they ended up moving him to Arizona. But it was a true story. So when Merrill was saying he's going to be a Buffalo Bill, he knew something. My grandmother used to cook for Ali when he was a kid. Him and my uncle used to go to school together here in Louisville. Oh, my God, man. You know who else is from Louisville? My coach, Howard Schnellenberger. Howard Schnellenberger's from Louisville, along with the guy who played in Green Bay, Paul Hornung. They're like Louisville dudes. The guy who's like the head of the Churchill Downs and the sports commission is a former Miami Hurricane too. Commander's trying to bring Luck out of retirement. So Jim Irsay's like, hey, stay away from my boy. Dude, that guy, man. When you want to trade for him, you drafted a quarterback. When you want to try to get your first round draft choice, if Andrew Luck came out of retirement, I would go like this to the Commanders. Hey, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the rights to talk to Andrew Luck. You want to try to bring him out of retirement? Got to give me 3 first-rounders. That's how old is Andrew Luck today? How old is that guy? He can't be that old. How old is Andrew Luck? He's 33. I'm good, man. Yeah, if you can get a first rounder for Aaron Rodgers at 40, Tone, you're going to have to give me 3. You're going to have to give me 3 for Andrew Luck. Why wouldn't Irsay go, you want him? Maybe that's what he is telling him. It's tampering. You got to go through us first. See, when you retire, that club still owns your rights. Unless you do what Breeze and the Saints did. They cut all ties. Like Brady retired, but he retired a free agent. He wasn't under contract still with the Buccaneers. So that thing had been Brady could go anywhere right now. So if they wanted to talk to him, I'll tell you what, if you're Washington, do you call Brady? Got some pretty good tools there. Would you go Washington? What if the 49ers, I got a feeling the 49ers are going to call Brady. I think they're going to call Brady. Purdy's not going to be ready. Trey Lance sucks. They're going to go to Tom Brady and go like this. Yo, dog. Just come home, play where you were born. You can win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady goes to San Francisco. They'll win the Super Bowl. Brady had a pretty good year last year. I know some of you don't think he did. He did. Brady had a pretty good year last year. Don't care what you think. Led the NFL in attempts and completions. How can they afford him? Easy. Brady sets the mark. Brady doesn't have to overcharge you here. They don't need $55 million to get Brady into San Francisco. Why wouldn't you do that if you're San Fran? If you're the 49ers, you have everything. And then you tell Brady this, hey, I'll give you a 5-year contract at why couldn't you do this? Brady's done. See what Joseph says? Let's see how accurate. Let's see how accurate he is when he says Brady's done. Tom Brady stats. So let's just take a look at that. He says he's done. So Tom Brady last year threw for 67 completion percentage. Was that higher than Jalen? He threw for 46.94. Let's see what the numbers were exactly. He had 733 attempts, 490 completions. He completed more footballs than Jalen threw. 67 completion percentage. 4,700 yards. He threw for more touchdowns than Hurts. 9 picks. Tom Brady had a better year last year passing the ball than Jalen Hurts did. I don't know how you don't look at it. That's a fact. There's not one statistic. As a passer, Jalen had more. How did Jalen have a better year than him? Brady's done? Brady's O-line was done. Tom Brady's not done. Brady had a better season than Hurts. Now, I would say this. With the amount of passes and completions, pretty high volume and only 9. Forget this. This guy threw the ball almost 1,000 times and only had 9 picks. And he's done? I'll take that. I'll take that. Tom Brady threw the ball almost 1,000 times and only had 9 picks. Jalen threw the ball 435 times, 25 times, and had 6 picks. This guy almost threw the ball twice as many times and had almost the same amount of picks as Hurts did. And he's done? Okay. No, that's a good one, Inferno. Brady doesn't want to end up in the infirmary. Yeah. Okay. They can't protect him. I'm not going there, 215. Okay. Hey, Big Sills will say a lot. That's actually funny. I will not repeat that. Hey, Tone, I will not repeat. Show enough 215. I will not repeat that. Funny, but I will not do that. Oh, man. Shanahan will get him killed. Probably so. Brady in Miami or in San Fran? Could you see Tom Brady just doing this? Hey, you need me for the playoffs? I'll play 4 games. Right? I'll do 4 games. Why not? Pay me $5 million a game. I'm good. Says you asking for the GOAT special. Yeah, extra Purdy sauce. Oh, number 10 looks like a taller version of Brady. He looks pretty good, man. Brock Purdy's old man's a hurricane too, believe it or not. All right, let's get into the 10 best teams that had the best off seasons. You tell me if you guys agree with this. I thought about this last night as we were putting this together here. What 10 teams have had the best off seasons? I wrote these teams down. Number 10, Seahawks. They got the OSU wideout. They got Devon Witherspoon. They got a defensive tackle. Geno had a really good year. I'll tell you something, John Schneider and Pete Carroll. Would this be a fair comment? I think John Schneider and Pete Carroll are doing a better job in Seattle than what Belichick is doing in New England. Poster, future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Is that fair? Russell Wilson leaving Seattle. Pete's actually got the organization on a good road. Belichick, on the other hand, it's bumpy. It's bumpy at minimum in New England. You know what I mean? I mean, Pete looks like, let's not forget. Hey, Yale, think about this, for instance. Who left that New England team with all those players on it when Belichick took over? Who brought in all those players in New England? Do you guys remember who the head coach was? Who brought all those players into New England? Okay. I guess Sills was tired of death threats from Eagle fans. No, Niner. I'm acknowledging the great offseason they're having. That's all. One thing Big Sills doesn't do, dog. My takes are in stone. No, that's not the case. They've had a really good offseason. You want me to lie? Do you want me to lie? It was Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was the guy. Okay? Pete brought all them dudes in. Skid goes, hey, Dan, do you think that because of Hurts, Howie, and Jeffrey that it makes the Eagles an attractive destination for players? I do. I think also, too, Skid, the fact that, get this, they're paying them. They're producing. Okay? I totally do. Okay, I think it's a great destination. Yes, I do. I think Seattle's doing a great job. John Schneider is one of the better general managers. Howie Roseman, Veach. I think those guys are really good GMs. Chicken Wing Purdy. I like it. I think the Texans at 9 have had a pretty good offseason. Um, all the guys that they ended up trading and moving up around in the draft, they got two centerpiece guys in Stroud and Will Anderson. Nick Caserio, the general manager, looks like he wants to stay there. I think Seattle's doing a hell of a job. Really a great job in building that team up. Now, to me, the problem that I have with the Texans is the McNair family. I think the McNair family gets in the way. Now, the old man's not around any longer, but they're really weird in how they do things, man. I think they got like a preacher in there that's like their capologist guy. It's a really weird dynamic that they have in the building there. And I'm a believer in Nick Caserio. I like him. Okay, I like him. So I think the Texans have had a really good offseason here. I think the Giants at 8 have had a good offseason. I think they've had a good draft. They got that Deonte Banks kid from Maryland. They brought in Waller from the Raiders. I still think they need to do some work in their O-line. Maybe free agency coming up. But they need some more work in that offensive line. I still think the problem that the Giants have had the last 7 years has clearly been the issue in their O-line. And I've been telling you this, Gettleman left them in ruin, man. It just comes down to really getting that O-line right. And also, too, Yale's right. It's about the development of the quarterback. Is he going to elevate his game? Is Daniel Jones going to elevate his game to really live up to the contract that you just gave him? Because he's going to count for a lot of those cap hits. He's almost got to outplay Jalen. You see the cool thing about Jalen Hurts? Even though this is what I love about the Hurts contract. It's not going to kill you 2 times. Dines will kill you 2 times. In the cap hit and how much you're paying him. If hypothetically, say Jalen doesn't play well for a stretch. Okay, so you're overpaying him. But at least he's not killing your roster. Daniel Jones has the entire Giant roster in his hands. If he doesn't play well, he kills the roster and you're overpaying him. Worst combos you can have. Because if he sucks, you still have to rip the team apart because the cap hits. You can't have Hurts, you just do this. Ah, shit, we're overpaying him. We're overpaying him. At least he's not doing this. Well, we got to get rid of AJ. Or we got to get rid of Devontae to pay the guy. That's not how this is working out. How he has constructed it where it's not a double-edged sword that if Hurts doesn't play well, and they got a 3-year out, 3rd year, they could basically walk out of the contract. Okay? Yeah, 2 years, you could cut bait and get the hell out of down. The Giants, man, have those hits against the cap. You're going to kill that team. Most of these GMs now, I'm telling you, Eric DeCosta coming out today going, yeah, I didn't do a good enough job. You know why he didn't do a good enough job? Because he's watching what Roseman's doing. He didn't do a good enough job, not only putting players on the team, but constructing the cap. See, this is how I think Howie does this. I think Howie looks at that cap and says, what can I do in the confinements? How can I get more money? You know, doesn't he act a little bit like Billy Beane? The Oakland A's former GM. I think he's an executive now with the A's. Doesn't he act kind of like that now? He looks at it like this. Well, I can't pay Javon Hargrave $20 million. But I can give Fletcher Cox 10 and feel good with it. Then he looks at CJ and goes like this. You know, I'm not paying a guy $6 million. Okay? But I'm going to get some quality guys in, and maybe a guy who's a better safety and knows the position more than Gardner Johnson and does better in play fits and run stops. And maybe we get it there. and I'll pay less. Look at how he deals. Look at how he's replacing. Look at how he's replacing 1,300 yards in your backfield. It's kind of like the Jason Giambi conversation in Moneyball. What do we have to replace? 38 homers and 120 RBIs, or 42 homers and 128 RBIs. How do you do it? Well, guys who are 6 yards a carry, guys, if healthy, can play and are productive, and guys who can help us in the passing game a little more. That, to me, is kind of like Moneyball. At certain positions, how he plays Moneyball. Linebacker, he gets his money. How he gets his money from linebackers, safeties, and running backs. That's how he gets more money for corners, edge rushers, left tackles, and wide receivers, and his quarterback. So there's a version of Moneyball that he plays. How can I replace those? Can I replace 1,300 yards with 4 dudes paying him $1 million a piece? If the answer is yes, he's going to go down that route. And that's where he saves. And plus, he creates depth that way. It's kind of smart. Now, look, your 2 tackles offensively, the equity you spent in draft choices with your tackles, the money you spend at your corners, those are premium positions. But he plays a form of Moneyball with that roster. It's pretty brilliant. Because that's kind of what, because Billy Beane, he knew what out of the gate. If you try to beat the Yankees in the boardroom, when you're constructing a roster, there's not a chance you're going to beat the Yankees on the field because they're going to run you off the field. You can't replace them. You're going to get beaten, eaten up. So what he did was he replaced it with a group of players that got the same on-base percentage, and he also got the same RBIs and home run production, but he used 3 guys. I like it. That's the analytics of today. Billy Beane was kind of like the first guy to create analytics like that. Okay? See, now, Cosmo, if Christian McCaffrey goes down, they don't have a collection of backs in San Francisco like they do in Philadelphia. And on top of that, the 49ers gave up draft picks for Christian McCaffrey, so you lose there in rebuilding your team if he's injured and often injured. Hey, he was great last year when he got to San Francisco. But you got all your equity built up in one guy. If he goes down, that's a big hit. If Rashad Penny goes down, you still got DeAndre Swift. Make sense? So at certain positions, it looks like he's playing Billy Beane Moneyball. He goes by committee. I love Nolan Smith. Chris, there's a lot to like about him. Okay? Dan was the reason that San Francisco Whiners having only 10 players on the field that made Dumbo fumble in the championship game. Injuries are part of football. Yeah, you can whine all you want. Your coach can't protect your quarterbacks. Never has. Never will. He can't hit 2 things that Kyle Shanahan can't do: protect leads and quarterbacks. It's on his resume. It's who Kyle Shanahan is now. Can't protect quarterbacks or leads. I don't know. We don't have a you do, Niner. You do. And you got a pretty damn good old line. Let me move up here. The 7th best team that's had the 7th best offense or offseason. I say the Broncos. Zach Allen, they didn't have a first rounder. They did some pretty decent things in the draft. I think Denver's going to make a surprise comeback. I do. Hey, Niner, you do. You have a collection of backs. You guys are pretty good. You guys can run the ball. Okay? You can. Dumbo Samuel, Max, how much freaking whining is he going to do Well, we only played with 10 guys. Dude, shut up. You got beat. What do you think, this is politics? There's no crying in football. Shut up. Just shut up, dude. You're going to have another crack at him. Stop whining. These wide receivers today, man, I miss the days of Jack Tatum and John Lynch and Cam Chancellor, where they just knocked the living shit out of these guys and just shut their pie holes. I miss those days, those guys. You know, wide receivers back in the day, man, they were like church mice. They didn't make any noise. Now because of defenseless receiver, guy gets the shit knocked out of him, or you see a couple snot bubbles out of him. The guy whines and moans and cries because they're a part of the game now, because they're fantasy football. And hell, the owners don't want anybody who has a fantasy guy like Deebo Samuel, you know, taken out of the game because he is one of the league's betting guys. You don't want him gone. They make up these crazy ass rules for him. Really, man. Sue's like, this guy's crying 5 months after the fact. Get over it, dog. She left you. She hates you. She's dating your best friend. They're drinking out of your favorite cup. Right, Sue? Your best friend's over at your former chick's house, and your boy's drinking out of your favorite cup. And he's sitting there watching TV, and they're drinking, and he's drinking out of your favorite cup, and you're looking in the window like you're OJ. Damn, man. Guy's sitting on my couch drinking out of my favorite cup. Her new boo's wearing your favorite slippers. Right. Absolutely, man. You know the slippers with like the dog ears on them? Homeboy's wearing them before he goes and puts them under her bed. And you know what's on those slippers? 31-7. 31's on the left foot, 7's on the right foot. Big old ears, you know, you got the shoes on, man, because you don't want dirty feet. I hate dirty feet, man. Can't stand it. I'm like Steve Jobs. I'll stick my feet in anywhere, man. I can't stand dirty feet. Okay? Hate dirty feet. Never climb into bed. If I ever see a chick with dirty feet, I'm out. Can't have it, man. No dirty feet. Homeboy's drinking out of your cup. It's got like Debo's like, man, the guy's drinking out of my Joe Montana cup. Holy shit. He's wearing my pooch sandals. Those are my slippers. Sitting in your favorite chair, too. She's sitting on his lap. Not good. He slips those shoes under her bed. Then you sit there in the morning and you're drinking his OJ. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the cable bill is still in your name. The cable bill is still in your name, Dumbo Samuel. Let me finish this one up here, man. I think that's the best off seasons. I got Seahawks at 10, Texans at 9, Giants at 8, Broncos at 7. I think the Steelers have had a hell of an off season at 6. Did a really nice job. They got Joey Porter in a latter round. I like that kid, Broderick Jones from Georgia. Number 5. I think the Bears are doing a decent job. Edmonds, Nate Davis. They got the Tennessee offensive tackle. I think they've done a nice job, man. Let's see if they can put it together. I think the Panthers have done a nice job. They get their quarterback, Miles Sanders. We'll see if that was a one-year thing on the radar. I got the Eagles at 3. I think they've done a hell of a job. I got the Lions at 2. Even though, I may change that. Eagles 2, Lions 3. Because the guy Campbell and Gibbs, really? I don't know. You draft a linebacker and a running back in the first round. Okay? I'm going to put the Eagles 2. I'll put the Lions 3. I think the Jets have had – I'll tell you what, Joe Douglas has done a whale of a job since he's become the general manager. Okay? I think he's done a whale of a job. Since he's taken over, now he has his quarterback. They've put the best quarterback in the building since Namath. Seals bet that Garoppolo's happy that Shanahan can't break him anymore. Cosmo, yeah. Plus Jimmy G in Vegas. Holy cow. I guarantee it is Cosmo. He's just not making Subway sandwiches in Vegas. The guy's still single, too. Go figure that. Jimmy G. Hey, Jimmy G ain't eating Subway sandwiches in Las Vegas, homeboy. That ain't happening. I feel like the Jets should have drafted another weapon. What if they get DeAndre Hopkins up there? Cowboys might be number 1. Really? You think they had that great an offseason? Brandon Cooks? Okay. You're gonna overpay CeeDee Lamb? I don't know. Hey, we got one more thing to hit on. CBS ranked the best draft classes. I completely disagree with this. Weapon says we got the best year for Miles because it was his contract year. Guys put out great years when the contract is coming. I think he's a one-year wonder too. All right, hit the like button. Keep it here on the National